Hi, this is TJ with Piano Clubhouse, and today I'm going to show you how to play Empty Me by William Murphy. Very simple song. It's got a simple progression. You should be able to catch on to this very, very quickly. It's in the key of C. Of course, the C scale doesn't have any accidentals, no sharps or flats. So the scale is just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. If you're familiar with the number system, the numbers are 1, C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is the 7, and of course C is back to the 1. Okay, so let's get started. The song basically just has 4 basic chords to it. We'll start with the left hand. And I'll show you the sheer basics of the song first, and then we'll kind of build on that to make each section a little bit more complex. But we'll start with the basics. So with the left hand, we'll start with just your single bass notes. Starts out with the C, then G, A, then F. That's it, 4 notes. Familiar with the number system, it's 1, 5, then 6, 4. 1, 5, 6, 4 progression. Okay, that's the entire song, just those 4 notes. 1, the first note, second note, third note, 4 note. 4 notes. And we're going to be playing, the right hand's going to be playing those exact chords: C chord, G chord, A chord, F chord, and I'll show you that in a minute. But let's finish adding a little bit of flavor to the left hand. So instead of just playing just the single notes like I just showed you, I'm going to add the fifth of each note, or the interval of a fifth. When we're playing the first note, C, the note that's the fifth up from C, or the interval of a fifth away, is this G. So we'll play these two together. The next primary bass note I gave you was a G. The fifth up from this is a D. So we'll play those two together. A fifth up from A is E. And the fifth up from the F is C. Okay? So, now playing that same progression, with now adding the fifth to it, sounds like this. Sounds fine. Let me give you one more option you can do with it. Right now we're playing the C and the G, which is your first and fifth degrees of the scale of C. What we're going to do now is add this third degree, which makes this basically a C major chord. But what we're going to do different is I'm going to take that third, this E, I'm going to play it up here. So I'm going to spread out the voicings over this C major chord. Instead of playing your traditional root position C chord, we're going to take that third degree and play it up here. Okay. We'll do the same thing when we get to G. Adding that middle note makes it a G major chord. So we're going to play a G major chord, but we're going to take that third degree and, as we did in C, bring it up here to the top. Okay, really nice voicing there. So first was, and we're going to do the same thing for A. Now this is going to be A minor chord, A, C, and E, but as we did before, we take that middle note, raise it up an octave. And the same thing for F. We'll play that A. Okay, so now let's do this new left hand progression, well, same progression. We're just adding a note to it, and let's do it now as we were in the song. Okay, we're starting to add some complexities here, and you kind of hear the difference in how how more fuller it sounds with we're just playing with one hand right now, but just with these three notes spaced out how they are, add some really nice harmonies, as opposed to if we just played the third down here. Sounds real muddy, especially this low C chord. Sounds real muddy. The G is not that bad. The A is a little bit better, but it sounds much better when you have the notes spread out like that. And the last thing I want to show you with the left hand, when you're playing this, let's also add the second note, the second degree, which is, in this instance, C, D, E. We're not going to be playing this chord, but if you remember, we took this E, we played it up here, and now this D, I said, we're going to take your thumb and play both of those. Okay, so now we're playing four notes. C, G, D, and E is basically this C major chord with the added second, but again, spread out. And we'll do the same thing, same concept with all four of these, with this whole progression. With the G, we do A and B. With the A and E, we'll do B and C. With the F and C, we'll also do G and A with the thumb. Now, your hands might not be big enough to stretch that far, and that's fine. This is just an extra option. So, okay. So that's kind of just gravy, extra gravy for your left hand. But at the very least, if you can, just add the fifths. You can even play octaves. That sounds just fine, okay? All right, let's add some basic right hand chords to this. So I'm going to take the left hand to its sheer basics for now. So if you remember, the first note was C. Right hand is going to be a C major chord, C, E, and G. Left hand goes to G, G major chord. Left hand goes to A minor chord. And left hand goes to F, right hand goes to F major chord. Okay, so C major, C, E, G. G major is G, B, D. A minor is A, C, E. F major is F, A, C. Okay, so I'm sorry. Okay, so that's the song at its simplest form. Let's add a little bit of complexities here to make it both easier to play and sound a little better. The first thing we can do is I like to keep my hands, and for the most part, centered around one position so that my hands aren't doing a whole lot of movement. That allows you as a musician to kind of pay more attention to maybe your band director or who's ever singing, as opposed to having to focus on your hands and where they have to move. So I like to try to keep my hand as stationary as possible. And to do that, we need to use different inversions of the chord. So what I mean by that is, when we go to the G, instead of moving from here, way up here, I'll play an inverted G chord that it really is right there. So I'll go from here, I'll leave this G and just move these two down to B and D. That's the same G major chord. We've just play the notes in a different order. Here it was G, B, D. I just played it now B, D, G. Same notes. So it's the same chord. It doesn't matter what order they're in. As long as you have these three notes down, it's a G major chord. Okay? So, then for the A major chord, I did this, C, E, A. Or you can do this. And then for the F major, C, F, A here. Instead of this, I'm still keeping everything kind of based around this C here. So my hand is staying in this position for pretty much the whole progression. Okay, so let's add a few more things.